Hi there! Let's look at Pyth again through the Wyckoff lens. If you're new to my sessions, here are the 3 key items that I'll cover during the session. So let's start with the weekly chart of Pyth. Last week we talked about the tendency of more tests is very high, so the test continues as expected. What's not very high opportunity becomes reality now. So instead of just a simple test, this may become a spring. So it depends on how quickly it comes back to above the white line. So as of this moment, I'll still consider it a test, which is just getting close or like lower than the second test. This week's candlesticks still have almost 5 hours left. So let's see what's happened in the remaining 5 hours. And if it really comes down to the level of 5 cents, that's the level set by October 10th or 11th, roughly about those 2 days, and quickly bounce out, this may be the actual sign of a spring. So it's still too early to declare that. The chance, however, is kind of likely. Okay, so I'm adjusting this a bit. This shouldn't take away the subsequent test, okay? We still high chance over here. This remains a lower chance. This is more like what we hope to see, something that happened back in late August. Come up to challenge the orange key level of 0.019. Best to go above it, like what the automatic rally and the sign of strength back in August did. So this is still the big picture of Pyth, continuing with the accumulation, potentially showing us a bear trap. However, just like I mentioned in virtual, 2 sessions before this, for these young coins or young projects, be very cautious that we have not yet seen their lowest. Okay, from where they started, and after going through cycles and cycles of tests, they'll eventually reveal the actual long-term playground zone they will be trading at for their further future. Alright, we're still at the very beginning for Pyth. Just checking if I have moved the box to a level that's too low. Okay, let's get to the daily chart. We've drawn this downtrend box, and it's still trending towards south, plus still trading on the weaker side of the box. Last week, I believe we talked about these 2 triangles. Okay, saying those are the opportunities, this one and this one, that the price can move towards the stronger side of the channel and eventually find an opportunity to break out. However, looking at these, and the only good thing I can tell is the declining volume. So even though the candlesticks looks pretty big, the volume themselves aren't really. So it's a good sign that it seems it's stabilizing at this point. Not that we've got any reference in history, but at least the market or whoever is supporting Pyth is getting in right now. We just need to see some white volume bust like this on November 18th. Let me put that lower. This is the one that I was talking about. Best, of course, is something like what we had November 7th. Alright? Those high volume days where price went up is what we need to see in order for this to get back to above or within the long-term playground zone and outside of this downward channel. Alright? If this downtrend continues, assuming it trades sideways between these 2 white dashed line of 5 cents to roughly 7 cents 40. Let me extend this box, assuming it's heading this way. So that's getting into mid-February. I guess it won't take that long. If this is really a spring, it's going to get back to above the white line, or at least the white dash line. I hope it's well before the date I mentioned. Okay. Again, the testing period is still continuing. I'm checking whether I have marked these tags in the daily chart in a way that it should fall under the daily, not the weekly chart, because the way that it's being marked. Okay, sign of strength, automatic rally. Got that automatic rally over there. Then it fell. Yeah, I will probably adjust a few things, because these is just look too weekly instead of the frequent interval that should be in the daily time frame. So Wyckoff, the PS and selling climax, automatic rally. It's very tempting for me to update this to actually a minute distribution over here, and then there's another accumulation, but that would be too much overkill, overcomplicated. Okay, I'll keep this for now. Alright, because Wyckoff is designed for something of a longer time frame, so even if the daily kind of aligns to the weekly or in sync with the weekly, it still shouldn't be a problem. I don't want to make it too complicated and looks crazy by plugging in a couple of different cycles over here, which we can, because if this is a buying climax, this another one with an upthrust potentially, and now we're at the end of this mini distribution. So you see where I'm talking about, right? This can be a mini distribution by itself in the daily time frame. That's what I'm talking about. All right. I'm not going to fix this now, because this is not going to change where we are at. We're basically at accumulation stage already, even if I'm not going to retag all these. Alright, and we're seeking for a low point rebounding to above the white line. So that, what I have talked about, isn't going to be changed whether I tag multiple cycles or just one big cycle. Alright, so this is Pyth. I expect more to come, but it seems to be stabilizing as of this moment. If the volume supports the movement, meaning we see longer volume bars with a white candlestick, that's a good sign. You know, as long as it's not the other way around with red candle and a high volume. Okay, that's not something we want to see. Even though, you know, October 10th indicated that, you know, it's a possibility that Pyth gets further down. All right, thanks for joining.